don't tell anyone. But you're listening to the best kept business secret and his podcast, dedicated to helping you understand the successful business secrets that others don't want you to know. Making no secret of success. Now, here's your host and quite possibly the best kept business secret anywhere, Marc Ford.
Hello again and welcome to your Best Kept Business Secret podcast with me, your host, Marc Ford, possibly your best kept business secret anywhere. Okay, guys, right, I'm going to start off the podcast a little bit differently this time. I am going to give you access to my online platform, okay? I've just built it. I've just launched it. I am giving you access to my online platform, which is called the Your Best Kept Business Secret Success Team. In this online platform, there are only going to be 40 businesses. I only want 40 businesses in there. But this platform gives you the ability to talk and be supported by other business owners that may be going through the same things that you're going through. But there is a library of over 100 hours of content, videos, downloads, audio recordings, interviews, strategies, ideas, and processes that will, and I mean will, really help you and your business grow faster and smarter. Plus, every month, I am doing a monthly mastermind call, to all the members of the success team. So you just come online. It's done on an online webinar type thing where we have a call. You ask me as many questions as you want, and I will try and help you get to the bottom of those issues. But there is a stack of stuff in there. Guys, the links are in the show notes, okay? Or go to my website, which is www.marcford.uk, and hit online community. That's www.marcford.uk, hit online community, and it will take you straight to the page. It's cancel anytime contract. And just genuinely for the small amount monthly that this online platform is asking you for, it will just repay you with thousands of pounds. And this is the same sort of stuff that I'm using with businesses to have turned a 4-figure business into a 5-figure, a 5 into a 6-figure, 6-figure into a 7-figure business, and a 7-figure business into an 8-figure business. That is how I roll, and I am giving you all this stuff for you to implement, and that is my online platform. So let's get on with the podcast. This is a little bit of an odd one, really, because here's the thing. This is about wrestling, but you don't need to be a wrestle fan to actually understand this podcast, because this is about the business of wrestling. And so most of those that know me think that I kind of spend my Sunday evenings watching Wolverhampton Wanderers football games or reruns of Steve Bull scoring goals for fun. However, I spent last Sunday evening watching WrestleMania 35, which is the 7th biggest sports franchise in the world. And that's possibly thanks to my longing to be in my late teens and early 20s again, that I stayed up until 6 a.m. in the morning. And you've got to love a bit of Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior on the newly formed satellite company that was called Sky. And now, even more than the wrestling itself, I'm absolutely fascinated with the business decisions behind the plan. The WWE and its business model is one of the most forward-thinking, audience-focused and designed for growth that you are ever likely to see. Key lessons that entrepreneurs and business owners should really learn from. But before we get stuck into what you can learn from the world of spandex and tights and makeup and the razzmatazz of WWE wrestling, here's a quick word from our sponsors.
This show is sponsored by the Small Business Growth Magazine, available online and dedicated to helping businesses from startups to their first million. Download it today.
Now, the origins of the WWE Network can be traced back to 2000 when the USA Network filed the lawsuit against the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, now known as the WWE. Obviously, we can't get pandas and wrestlers confused. Now, this was due to a breach of contract which saw most of its program moved to Viacom-owned TNN and MTV. Then CEO Linda McMahon revealed that WWF wanted its own cable network and testified that before WWF signed a rights deal with Viacom, the company had floated the idea of acquiring the USA's Sci-Fi Channel and reformatting it as a dedicated wrestling network. USA's executives rejected the idea, and McMahon said that the former USA Network's president Barry Baker encouraged her to talk to other programmers about potential deals. And I can tell you right now, Linda, you're not going to get anybody to give you your own network, which is what she testified to. Now, in 2005, the USA Network reacquired the rights to all WWE programming. But in September 2011, WWE officially announced plans to launch the WWE Network in 2011 as a pay TV channel. WWE then conducted a survey asking people if they would pay for the WWE Network if it were a premium channel. In an email sent to WWE fans who might be interested in the network, the WWE surveyed fans for their thoughts about a network airing all the exclusive pay-per-views to subscribers for no additional charge. The survey also noted that repeats of its programs, its flagship programs, Raw and SmackDown, as well as footage from other wrestling businesses like WCW, Extreme Wrestling, NWA, XFL, all the others, and the WWE movies, because they do movies as well, would also make the lineup. Original programming was also noted in the survey. Now, did anybody hear the issue? You see, they announced what their intention was first, then did the bloody research afterwards, which goes against everything that any business book that's ever been written would ever tell you. But knowing the WWE as I do, and its maverick boss, Vince McMahon, who has more hits than misses, this really shouldn't surprise you. As the result of the online poll, WrestleMania Rewind was chosen as a name for a new WWE Network show in October 2011. The original launch date was set for April 1st, 2012, which would have coincided with WrestleMania 28. And WWE's official website featured a countdown clock that would have expired on April the 1st. The clock was quietly removed and the network did not launch as advertised. Now, WWE Chief Marketing Officer Michelle Wilson allayed fears about the future of the network, saying that there will be a network in some shape or form. Here we are in the late stages of negotiations with distributors and confirmed that the WWE Legends house had been filmed. Ooh. But in 2013, WWE had switched plans and aimed to release the network as a premium pay TV outlet with a potential price of only $15 a month. On Old School Raw in January 2014, WWE ran teasers promoting an announcement on January the 8th at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, later confirming that the announcement concerned the network itself. At the Consumer Electronics Show, they revealed a comprehensive plan which would see a launch date of February 24, 2014 in the United States. Now, the Classics on Demand closed on January 31st, 2014 to make way for the network. A free trial period was offered during the week of launch, and the logo initially used the WWE Network eventually became the standard logo, which is used by the corporation as of today. Now, in April 2014, ahead of WrestleMania 30, the network received acclaim, with the New York Times saying the WWE had positioned themselves on the cutting edge of internet TV. Later that month, the company announced that the network had 667,000 subscribers, short of the 1 million that they needed to break even. As WWE stock fell 50% in the following month, Forbes described low subscription numbers as being of additional concern for investors after the WWE's underwhelming NBC renewal deal. Now, WWE offered a free second preview week of the network, which started on July 7th, in an attempt to sign new subscribers, and a second report released at the end of that July indicated the network had only reached 700,000. WWE's goal was to reach 1 million by the end of 2014. So let's look at the expansion, because this is where it all started falling into place. It was a bit of a mess, but it started falling into place. On July 31st, 2014, the company announced a 10-year Canadian distribution deal for WWE content with Rogers Media, which would see the company distribute the network as a premium TV service. Also on that date, it announced that the network would launch in Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Singapore, Mexico, Spain and the Nordics, amongst others on August the 12th, with Italian, Arab, German, Japanese, Indian, Chinese, Thai and Malaysian launches planned for a later date. In the October that year, in an attempt to increase subscription numbers from an announced figure of 731,000, the 6-month subscription requirement was dropped, allowing subscribers the option to cancel any time. WWE had originally planned to launch the network on October the 1st in the United Kingdom, but it was delayed for a further month. The launch was confirmed to take place at 8 o'clock on November the 3rd. However, 20 minutes prior to the launch, WWE announced that it had been indefinitely delayed, and Vince McMahon publicly apologised for the delay. It was then announced on January 4th, 2015, that the network would be launching in the UK and Ireland on January the 19th, although some customers managed to register as early as January the 13th. Towards the end of January in 2015, the WWE announced that the network had reached 1 million subscribers, with Vince McMahon saying that WWE would remain focused on delivering an outstanding value proposition for our fans by adding new content and new features in the coming year. On February 12, 2015, they announced a 5-year partnership with television producer OSN to bring the network to the Middle East and North Africa as a premium service. And in July 2015, they revealed the amount of subscribers for the network was at 1.156 million. This was announced as part of WWE's financial reporting on the second quarter of the year, which resulted in their stock price rising past the $20 after closing the previous day at $16.48. The total of 1.156 million paid subscribers marked a 13% decrease from the 1.3 paid subscribers that was stated in reports in the first quarter of 2015. But it also revealed, including trial subscribers, that they had 1.227 million network users at the end of the second quarter. Over the entire lifespan of the network, there had been over 2 million unique subscribers. So there was a massive troubled start, and I appreciate that there was a lot of numbers in there. But great things really are difficult to get up and running. So I guess the first lesson here is perfection is just time wasted. They announced it before they'd researched it. They started, stopped, tweaked and twerked it into what it is today. Now, they're pretty forward thinking. And professional wrestling in its modern incarnation has always been a cable TV thing in the US and more of a satellite thing here in the UK. The pay-per-view model has worked for decades and made WWE and its predecessor organisation briefcases and briefcases of money. Fundamentally, the pay-per-view model is still kind of working for the WWE. WrestleMania 29 took over $70 million, and it was its most profitable depending on what you read. But for how long does it make sense to share those profits with cable and satellite companies, when the company can reach its fans directly via web and app, and in so doing can control all of its own advertising and sponsorships and collect its own audience data, and yes, not split the profit? And for that matter, WWE and its predecessors have not only new events at their disposal, they have a vast archive of previous events that fans are clamouring for. Why not find a way to monetize the repository of content? The thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of TV programs, pay-per-view events, documentaries and specials. That's the best lesson from the WWE's network's launch. To me, it's a case of be willing to look ahead. What's profitable now is great, but is your business, whether it's walking dogs in your area or delivering sports entertainment around the world, poised for what's going to be profitable next? Is it taking advantage of the latest tools when doing so increases profitability and sustainability? Are you making the best use of the systems or products that you've already built? Now, As a coach, I know what's profitable for me now, and that's great, and I will continue to do it. But I'm working hard to expand my knowledge specifically in the areas of events and online platforms because that's where my current clients will need help moving forward. You see, those groups that are paid for on Facebook, you know those ones? Eventually, Facebook will catch up to them as the owner of that group isn't paying a penny towards that platform that's earning the owner an absolute fortune. Eventually, Facebook will want a piece of that action. Fact. So where do you see your company or your industry, if you're not self-employed, where is it making money in 5 years? What's the one thing you can do now to better position yourself for that time? So this leads on to being audience focused. Interestingly, the WWE Network subscription model, anywhere from about £8 to £19 a month, depending on the term of service that you choose, is looking to be another great revenue source for WWE. But here's the crazy part. WWE Network subscribers get access to all 12 of the yearly pay-per-view events, including in their subscription. That's mad. Just how does that work? Well, actually, it's brilliant because this focuses on building a community is probably the most brilliant business move I think I've seen in a very long time. You see, here's what I think. Normal WWE pay-per-views are like 29 quid a piece, and WrestleMania will set you back a little bit more. Those prices are just high enough, and that one-time payment method is just volatile enough that it's way too easy for me to look at the bank balance today and say, I can't really spend that much. And in between pay-per-view events, wrestling really wouldn't be top of my mind. I wouldn't think of coming home and spending my evening vegging out to it. Now, as a business owner, I'd rather have a subscriber paying me £5 to, say, £30 a month for a product steadily than have a one-time or occasional influx of £29 or so. So yes, absolutely give away those premium products to your steady customers, because that's how you keep them as steady customers. And in reverse, what's an awesome way to attract new, hopefully long-time subscribers? If you're going to spend more on WrestleMania, why not just drop that same amount and pick up a 6-month subscription to the network? Same investment, more content for the purchaser, and potentially new loyal audience member for the WWE. You see, the Netflix style model works. A relatively small amount of money paid once a month automatically for unlimited access to a library of content you could never possibly tap the bottom of. Well, this is a stellar plan, and one that focuses on building audience and not just revenue. And guess what? When you build a valuable audience, one that talks about your brand on social media, one that engages with your content regularly, one that you build revenue in ways that you would never dream. This one resonates with me because it makes sense to have an income dropping in regularly. And as a business owner, I quickly learned that I can make good money doing one-time odds and ends jobs. But to have dependable income, I need to find a set number of steady repeat clients. And that would be my subscriber audience. So do you have a devoted fan base? Do you have people who market your product or service for you for free because they're excited about it? Do you have customers or clients who would support anything new that you create because they are just sold on the quality of work? What can you do to create one more new regular client for your product or service, or for your employers? Now, the business is designed for growth, and the WWE Network is covering all its bases. You can stream on your computer, your phone, your tablet, PlayStation 3 or 4, Xbox 360, blah, 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 with more devices on the launch schedule. And deciding not to tie the WWE Network subscriptions to one device or platform means the WWE company has been designed for growth. Any individual platform might cap the WWE Network, and they might cap it only out subscribers with that particular technology. And tying their business model to just one, like say, if they'd opted to create a cable network or sync themselves to Netflix or something like that, means that if that platform fails or becomes obsolete, well, so does your service. Meanwhile, the apps are just super well designed. They're clean, they're easy to navigate, with absolute room for tons of features and content to be added. Well, that's never an easy thing to build. The multi-platform approach makes it possible, and the same framework built once can be reused with only minor tweaks globally. So if you then start looking at the technology infrastructure itself, I love what WWE did with this. It partnered with a company that already streamed Major League Baseball as a technology partner, so that it didn't have to deal with the scalability problems on its own. It also hired a customer service firm named Haystacks, which proved brilliant when at the launch, people had trouble with both payment processing and streaming due to the high level of demand that was above anything that anybody had seen before. The cool thing is that after I'm doing this after WrestleMania officially finishes, but there were no streaming or quality problems. And I attribute that to the design for growth, choosing the right partners who would promptly address any issues and keep them from happening again, and allowing the WWE to focus on the content and not troubleshooting its tech issues. So you see, that's designing for growth. And I actually wince when I hear small companies that refuse to hire additional staff or form strategic partnerships. Yes, you can handle your customer support tickets at the rate of 1 or 2 a day from 50 sales, but what if you're successful and sell 5,000 of your product or service? Does your system scale? Are you prepared to hire staff if you need them? Are you going to limit yourself to only what you can get in your free time? And you see, that's not designing for growth. This is something that I've struggled with more in my recent career. You see, I trade time for money, and that just isn't scalable over a certain point. In fact, right now, I'm capped out. I can't take on any more coaching clients, and recently I found some trusted friends who've been able to subcontract with me on certain projects, and that's been an absolute bloody lifesaver. But even that requires some time and commitment on my part to serve as a liaison and so on. But I need to figure out if there's something more in my future than working an hourly rate, even if it's a high one. Specifically, my goal is to launch 2 products this calendar year. One is in the small business space, and I soft launched that a week ago, and we'll talk to you about that at the end of the podcast. And another is in the customer service space, so that I can create an additional stream of income, even during those times I don't have time to trade for money. So then they woe on to giving them something extra. Now, to you, this may be a little bit of nothing, but to your clients and customers, it's absolutely fan-damn-tastic. I've often said, as I approach cashiers and checkout operators, that the person that comes up with one reward card for all the stores that offers rewards will be the next billionaire. In this day and age in which we live, I can't quite work out why that's not a thing, but there you have it. Still, we do all love a freebie of some extra bit and a bit of something else that nobody's got access to. And that's what WWE Network has the capability of doing, giving their subscribers something extra. After WrestleMania, and even whilst the show was actually happening, you had the chance to delve into interviews behind the scenes, find out more about what was going on, extras that won't be shared anywhere else, because the WWE Network values your customers and values their fandom. Essentially, they are low-cost rewards, but very high value to the customer. And it just works. How many people complain about getting better deals with new service providers rather than their existing provider? Lots. So actually the best way to retain customers is to give them something new, something exclusive. And exclusivity goes a very, very long way. So is your business, be it a product or service, designed for growth? Are you tied to a particular tool or technology to access? If you're an employee, is your job designed for growth? Or if a piece of technology changes, will your knowledge and skills become obsolete? What can you do today to increase your marketability and your worth? And that's it for this podcast. You see, you never know what you're going to get on this podcast. You really don't. I go from Doctor Who, I go to wrestling, I talk about, I don't know, got really serious things with Todd Henry and other people like that. It's just ridiculous, isn't it? All more fun for you. And because you've got to the end of the podcast, I'm also going to give you a freebie. I am going to give you a freebie. I have been involved. I'm the European editor. That's what I am. I'm the European editor for the Small Business Growth magazine. We relaunched it a couple of weeks ago. Do you know what? Downloads are fantastic. We are so happy with it. If you go to the show notes, you'll see a link. You can download a free copy of the Small Business Growth magazine, where there is a really handsome looking chap on the front. Yep, that would be me. Go and download it. Absolutely superb. All I ask is that if you really enjoy this podcast, please go to iTunes, give me a little review, tell me how much you're enjoying it, tell your mates about it. Honestly, tell your business mates about it, because they might get something out of this podcast. They really will, rather than just chewing your ear in the pub on a Friday night. So until next time, go out, be bloody brilliant, and I will see you very soon.
This show is sponsored by the Small Business Growth magazine, available online and dedicated to helping businesses from startups to their first million. Download it today.